In India today, there lives a holy man who is accepted by millions as an avatar of the Lord, a reincarnation of Lord Krishna. His miraculous powers can transform thin air into numberless material objects at will. He has the power to heal the sick, the lame, and the blind, and in all ways demonstrate the supermental powers of the Avatar. His omniscience astounds the scientist. His omnipresence is felt all over the world. What you are about to see reveals just a fraction that is the glory of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba.
దివ్యాత్మ స్వరూపులారా, త్రిగుణమిళితమైనటువంటి ఈ ప్రకృతి యందు ధర్మ క్షీణం,
for the protection of the virtuous, for the destruction of evildoers, and for establishing righteousness on a firm footing, I incarnate from age to age. Whenever Ashanti or disharmony overwhelms the world, the Lord will incarnate in human form.
Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, the avatar of the age, is omnipresent. There is no place which he does not occupy and no name which he does not bear. But physically his abode and headquarters are at Prasanthi Nilayam. Prasanthi Nilayam is situated in Penakonda Taluka in Anantapur district of the state of Andhra Pradesh. It lies along the banks of the river Chitravati, which is almost dry except during the rainy seasons. Generally, the climate of Prasanthi Nilayam is dry with a hot summer. There are periodic rains between July and October. Sri Sathya Sai Baba was born on November 23, 1926, on this site in the village of Putterparti to middle-class parents. He was born after the customary religious observances and pujas. It was said that tambours and drums sounded of their own in the house when the baby was born. As a boy, he was as precocious as Buddha, whose infinite knowledge surpassed the knowledge of his teachers. At sunrise, in the temple, a puja is performed by the Vedic Pandits, ushering in another day at Prasanthi Nilayam, the abode of the highest peace. Baba chose a site outside the village, and a spacious prayer hall cum residence was constructed. Baba named it Prasanthi Nilayam, the abode of the highest peace, for he, the source, the sustainer, and the sustenance of that peace, had this as his visible abode. From this Nilayam, the message that every man's heart must be transmuted into a Prasanthi Nilayam is radiating in all directions, and the discipline necessary for this alchemy is being taught to all. After giving his special blessings to all assembled, Baba accepts letters asking for help and calls to him those fortunate ones for the coveted interview, where he gives personal attention to physical and spiritual problems, often materializing by a wave of his hand vibhuti, sacred healing ash, japamalas, rosaries, rings, medallions, fruit, and other like manifestations to charm and shock one into the realization that the divine power of God knows no boundaries. The devotees meet in the prayer hall to sing bhajans, devotional songs, each morning at 11 a.m. and evening at 6 p.m.
Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara.
After the morning ceremony, crowds gathered in the auditorium. Baba spoke on the significance of the Vibhuti Abhisheka. This followed the usual pattern on such occasion familiar to the devotees. The silver idol of Shirdi Sai Baba, Sathya Sai Baba's previous incarnation, was bathed and wiped dry. A jeweled necklace was produced by Baba by the wave of his hand and placed on the idol of Shirdi Sai Baba. The wooden vessel in the shape of a flower vase was held upside down overhead. Baba started churning the same with his hand inserted into it, throwing out large quantities of vibhuti, pouring from nowhere, as it were, and covering the idol with exquisite fragrance. When Baba took out his hand from the upturned vase for a short while, lo and behold, the vibhuti stopped flowing down, as though to convince the doubting ones amongst the spectators that the otherwise empty vessel needed the divine hand for it to produce the vibhuti. The flow that seemed capable of being an unending one starts all over again as soon as Baba puts his hand into the vase. It is on such occasions that logic fails us, for in the confusion, not realizing that he who can produce the vibhuti at will out of an empty vessel can also stop it at will. We begin to wonder more when the flow stops than when it resumes. After the Asatoma prayer is sung, Baba gives final darshan from the balcony before lights out at the ashram at 9 p.m. India's President Giri dedicated Sai Baba's Girls' College at Anantapur near Prasanthi Nilayam in July 1971. Devotees from all over India and foreign lands gathered to inaugurate Baba's plan to redefine educational goals and to establish a boys' and girls' college in each of the 18 states in India as the aim of the Sai Educational Trust. Sai Baba says that education without character is useless. Its aim should be to build character and install a sense of morality, to place a student on the path of self-confidence, self-satisfaction, self-sacrifice, and self-realization, to promote the spirit of dedication in all we do through earnestness, humility, sincerity, and reverence, to remove the illusion that happiness consists in accumulating money, knowledge, comforts, or reputation, whereas in truth, happiness is a state of mind which can be cultivated and which is unaffected by fortune, good or bad. Baba said all students should be introduced to meditation and yoga, the joy of inquiry into one's own reality. The end of knowledge is love, the end of commerce is morality, the end of wisdom is freedom, says Baba. Taking leave of the teachers and students to return to his residence Vrindavan, Baba, with a wave of his hand, produces the sacred ash vibhuti, known as the truth of matter, and gives it to the lucky ones as a special grace. Vibhuti in Sanskrit means wealth, and no wonder. It gives all kinds of wealth to one who wears it. The very color of vibhuti, which is white, signifies much. It signifies nothing less than the supreme goal. Just as fire reduces wood to ashes, wisdom destroys all karma. The sacred ash symbolizes the wisdom that remains after all karma is burnt out. Anything put into the fire may turn black for a while, but eventually it has to turn white. So whiteness is the ultimate state. Sai Baba is seen here producing vibhuti by a wave of his hand. He says, a sick person comes to me, I create vibhuti or some other article. He becomes conscious of divine power, he acquires mental peace. That cures, that comforts. It is not as if I give these things only to those devoted to me. I give whenever it is necessary to turn the afflicted toward God. Sai Baba arrives at Vrindavan on the morning of a festival day. The crowds had gathered early to welcome Swami home. When Sai Baba is at his residence Vrindavan, 15 miles outside of Bangalore, he daily walks among those who gather outside his house morning and afternoon, answering their calls for help, taking their notes, stopping occasionally to give vibhuti by a wave of his hand to those fortunate ones. Sai Baba says, all who come to me in their concrete form have fortunately reached the stage when they are beginning to see the reality. Those who cry for the chance to see me in the concrete form have their prayers answered. To each I give every opportunity for my darshan, for they deserve and receive my love. Since I move with you, eat like you, and talk to you, you are deluded into the belief that this is but a human phenomenon. Be warned against this mistake. I am also deluding you by singing and playing with you and engaging myself in activities with you. But any moment my divinity may be revealed to you. You have to be ready, prepared for that moment. Since divinity is enveloped by humanness, you must endeavor to overcome the Maya, delusion, that hides it from your eyes. This divine phenomenon is bound to grow into a world tree that provides shade and shelter for all humanity. This has come down in this form for that very purpose. It knows no hesitation, no halting. My name is Sathya, truth. My teaching is truth. My path is truth. I am truth. Inside Swami's house, a remarriage ceremony is being performed for Walter and Elsie Cowan of Santa Ana, California. Walter, aged 84, succumbed in Madras. Baba came to the hospital and raised him from the dead. The doctor, who later tested Walter, found his diabetic condition and diseased kidneys cured. As Walter was reborn, Baba said that he would perform a remarriage ceremony.
Baba has been saying that you know what actually happened to your husband in Madras.
I sure do. He died in my arms, I ought to know.
He died in your arms.
I have something to say here too, I think. At the time I passed out there, I had a lot of pain, and I was in perfect calm, and Baba was right there. And before the seat of judgment, they outlined all my past existence as a soul. Baba spoke up and said, I want the soul. They said, so be it.
ఈ ఫంక్షన్ చేసే కోసం
He walked you back in order that he may perform this function.
Sai Baba here miraculously produces a beautiful jewel-encrusted pendant for Elsie and matched ruby wedding rings for them both. Baba says this about the power which works these manifestations. He says it is wrong to call them miracles. It is only evidence, not exhibition. It is just like a play, sport, my natural behavior. It is a sign which helps to turn men into faith, devotion, inquiry, and realization of their own Atma. As the intention of the will arises in the mind, the thing is made. It is ready when I want it. The moment it is willed, the thing comes to hand or happens where I will it to happen.
There are so many people in the world. Why should Ravi Shankar alone have this gift? This is God's grace to him. The bliss and happiness which comes through music, that does not come through anything else.
Complete life, complete untadi. ఈ పదార్థాలు ఒక మ్యాజిక్ మాదిరి కాదు.
He tells him that this is not like a transient magic, but these things complete were created, they last for a whole lifetime. Each one to have it round his neck or in his pocket.
ఈ మ్యూజిక్ ద్వారా ఎంతవరకు అయినా కానీ ఇతరుల హృదయాన్ని చాలా ప్రశాంతపరచవచ్చు. భగవంతుడే సంగీత ప్రియుడు.
Through music, you can give a lot of peace and happiness to a large number of people. In fact, God himself, he likes music.
The housewarming ceremony of Hollywood producer Joel Reardon and his wife Diana took place at Vrindavan. Joel was openly skeptical of Sai Baba, and when asked what he would ask Swami for, Joel replied, I don't need anything. I'll ask him for a rainbow, for only a god could make a rainbow. When they arrived at Prasanthi Nilayam, Joel and Diana walked up a hill behind the ashram, where to Joel's surprise, out of the clear sky, a rainbow formed as a pillar straight up in the sky. It lasted almost a minute and then dissolved. The next morning, Baba called him for an interview and asked Joel, how did you like your rainbow? Swami materializes here rings for the ceremony. Baba invited Indra Devi and other devotees to go with him to a dry riverbed near Vrindavan, where Swami promised to discourse on divine creation and demonstrate his power to transform the sand into beautiful material objects.
Select. This is Manimala. 108, 108.
Oh, look.
Patsalu, Mutyalu, Ratnalu.
Emerald, pearls and diamonds.
This side.
How does this come from this riverbed?
Yes. And Sankalpa.
Has to come in the same way the universe was created.
అట్లనే యూనివర్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసేది దైవత్వము అనే ఇది మీకు వండర్.
This causes wonder to you, but to me, they are just my nature.
ఇట్స్ డ్రాయింగ్. దాని ద్వారా ఒక విధమైనటువంటి అవకాశాన్ని కూడా
Through such manifestations, it is possible to pass on and to give the feeling for divinity and develop faith in divinity.
This lion eyes.
What is the deepest spiritual significance of these manifestations?
దైవత్వము అనేటువంటిది.
The answer is to say that God's power exceeds every other power in this universe is to create
దానికి
faith in you.
కాలం కానీ ప్లేస్ కానీ అతీతమైనటువంటిది.
God's power exceeds time and place and is not subject to time and place.
Nataraja, Nataraja, Nartana Sundara Nataraja.
Sai Baba said this about his visit to New Delhi. The longing of my people in the Delhi area was so poignant that it took nearly half an hour for me to alight from the plane. And all those 9 days I was there, I shared my Ananda without a moment's respite with the several 100,000 eager devotees. Huge concourses of men, women, and children streamed continuously in the park opposite where I was and sang bhajans night and day, clamoring for darshan, crying out, Sai Baba darshan. I was busy all through the day and most of the night, moving among them, relieving the sick and consoling the distressed. Hundreds of buses flowed from towns and pressed along the roads full of pilgrims from the states all around Delhi. Since Delhi is the seat of the central government and of all the embassies from foreign lands, most of those in charge of government were anxious to receive blessings. Many ambassadors who had learned of the excellence of Indian culture desired to know more of its uniqueness from me.
All volunteers should come near the stage. Nalini Menon or Babli Baba. Nalini Menon. This is Rajan for all in the radio.
Sai Baba said, when I was asked to speak at the All India Sadhu Samaj at Kurukshetra, the battlefield of the Gita, I felt it was not proper to disappoint the thousands who came every day to Delhi for darshan. But finally I left during the hot hours of the day so that the least number would be affected. There I spoke of the essential virtues the sadhu has to cultivate.
Freedom, freedom,
ఫ్రీడమ్ అంటున్నాడు. ఈ ఫ్రీడమ్ అంతా కూడా నువ్వు మృగ లక్షణాలే కానీ ది ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ విజ్డమ్ ఈజ్ ఫ్రీడమ్. ది ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ కల్చర్ ఈజ్ perfection. The end of education is character. The end of knowledge is love, love, love.
Hundreds of thousands of people from the New Delhi area were able to secure darshan and derive ananda. Those who felt that God and godly ways have lost their appeal were confounded by the massive response. Some papers described it as a triumph, as my having taken Delhi by storm. But when I go among my own people and share ananda and allow those to share my ananda, it is not appropriate to exalt over it or to characterize it as a triumph. It is only a natural manifestation of kinship, a spontaneous outburst of love and reverence. My mission is to raise the consciousness of man to a level at which he neither rejoices nor mourns over anything. You must have not only freedom from fear, but freedom from hope and expectation. Trust in my wisdom. I do not make mistakes. Love my uncertainty, for it is not a mistake. It is my intent and will. Remember, nothing happens without my will. Be still. Do not want to understand. Do not ask to understand. Relinquish understanding. Relinquish the imperative that demands understand.
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की।
हरिद्वार मथुरा काशी शिरडी में तीरथ सारे हैं, साई बाबा के चरणों में चारों धाम हमारे हैं.
Saints and sages, holy men and seekers of truth have wandered the length and breadth of India for countless centuries seeking God realization. From the soil of India have come Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Shankara, Guru Nanak, and other illustrious saints who have left an indelible impression on the spiritual lives of millions of seekers. In the 19th century, India was singularly blessed to have not one but two extraordinary saints, Ramakrishna Paramahansa in the east and Sai Baba of Shirdi in the west. We are approaching the village of Shirdi, which is approximately 100 miles northeast of Bombay. Sai Baba first came to Shirdi about the year 1854 when he was a young man of 16. He said he was born of Brahmin parents, who handed him over to a Muslim fakir. The fakir initiated him into the worship of Allah according to Islamic faith. After the fakir's death, some 5 years later, the child passed into the care of his Guru Deva, Gopal Rav Deshmukh. He spent a period of 10 years of intense love and devotion towards his Guru, becoming an adept in Prema Marga, the path of love. When people came to Shirdi Sai Baba, he would give them udi, vibhuti ashes, from the fire that he always kept burning beside him. When he addressed the elements, they obeyed him. He had full possession of the miraculous city powers. He knew the heart of everyone and could see their past and future. The ashram was called Dwaraka Mai by Shirdi Baba, who was heard many a time to say that whoever stepped into this place had his future assured. Owing to the sacred fire, it was considered a temple to the most orthodox Hindu and Parsi, and owing to the niche on the western wall, it appeared as a musjid to the Mohammedan, and to the Christian, owing to the sound of bells, a church. So in this unique place, all the principal creeds of the world were united in worship of the universal God in a unique and loving manner. Inside the temple at Shirdi, which is operated as a national shrine by the Indian government, are to be found these relics used by Shirdi Baba during his lifetime. Devotees from all parts of India come to worship at the shrine of this great saint. Before Shirdi Sai Baba attained final samadhi on the 15th of October 1918, he told some of his close devotees that he would reincarnate in 8 years. 8 years later, on November 22nd, 1926, in South India, Sathya Narayana Raju, to be known as Sathya Sai Baba, was born with the same miraculous powers that Shirdi Sai Baba possessed.
हरिद्वार मथुरा काशी शिरडी में तीरथ सारे हैं.
From Bombay, we traveled south to the Anantapur district and the village of Puttaparthi, where Sathya Narayana Raju, to be known as Sathya Sai Baba, was born. Outside the village, an ashram grew that was named Prasanti Nilayam, the abode of supreme peace. It is here that seekers of truth from all over the world come to have the darshan, sight and presence of a Puna Avathar, to bask in the reflected glory of his light, love, and compassion. Upon hearing that Shirdi Sai Baba reincarnated and was to be found at Prasanti Nilayam, many who had known Shirdi Baba hastened to Puttaparthi. When asked to tell the truth about the reincarnation, Sathya Sai answered that he who came as Sai Baba has come again as Sathya Sai Baba. Moreover, the Sais come in a series of 3. After this, there will be another, Prema Sai, who will take birth in the Mandya district in the Mysore state of South India. Sathya Sai invariably refers to my previous body when he speaks about Sai Baba of Shirdi. Sai Baba regularly walks among the crowds who come to him asking for his help and blessings. He picks these fortunate ones for a personal interview where he answers their doubts and questions, often materializing by a wave of his hand, a ring, a locket, a photo, or a japamala as a token of his love. Sometimes these materializations contain the image of Shirdi Sai Baba. Sometimes both the images of Shirdi Sai and Sathya Sai are incorporated. Sai Baba makes no distinction between the present and previous incarnation. Baba says these miracles, as they are called, are insignificant and incidental to his mission. The true miracle is the example that he sets and the inspiration that is his life. For as he often says, my life is my message. The clarity of his teachings can lead those who come to him across the seas of samsara and on to self-realization. It has been said about Sai Baba of Shirdi, while the devotees took leave, Shirdi Baba gave ash from the cauldron as prasad, put some of it on their foreheads, and placed his boon-conferring hand on their heads. Sathya Sai Baba also does this. By a wave of his hand, he manifests the vibhuti ash that he instructs them to place on their tongue and forehead to wipe out disease and ward off evil. Here he again manifests the sacred ash by a gentle wave of his hand. Baba here takes letters asking for help and blesses personal articles such as Bibles, pictures of saints, japamalas, rosaries, and prayer beads. He chooses these lucky ones for a personal interview where he gives advice and instruction of a spiritual nature. Baba manifests again some vibhuti ash for a devotee. He says the vibhuti is a constant reminder of the impermanence of the body, which is ultimately reduced in cremation to a pot full of ash. Hundreds of thousands of devotees have witnessed the miracle of vibhuti produced out of the elements by his will. Unmistakably, here is the same Shirdi Sai presence come again in the Sathya Sai form, expressing the same all-conquering love and the same omnipresence and omnipotence. During the Mahashivaratri festival, Baba performs the rite of Vibhuti Abhishek for the silver icon of Shirdi Sai Baba. A jeweled necklace is created by Baba and placed on the statue. When he places his hand into the upturned pot, fragrant Vibhuti is showered over the icon. When Sai Baba removes his hand from the upturned pot, the Vibhuti ash stops flowing, showing that it is Sai Baba's will that is in control. After the Vibhuti Abhishek ceremony, devotees put the Vibhuti thus materialized into small packets, which Baba personally gives to all who come for the event. On these special festival days, Baba often speaks on the unity of all religions. He has said all religions teach one basic discipline, the removal from the mind of the blemish of egoism, of running after little joys. Every religion teaches man to fill his being with the glory of God and evict the pettiness of conceit. It trains him in the methods of detachment and discrimination so that he may aim high and attain liberation. Believe that all hearts are motivated by the one and only God, that all names in all languages and all forms man can conceive denote the one and only God. His adoration is best done by means of love. Cultivate that attitude of oneness between men of all creeds, all countries, and all continents. That is the message of love I bring. That is the message I wish you to take to heart. I have come to light the lamp of love in your hearts, to see that it shines day by day with added luster. I have not come to speak on behalf of any dharma like the Hindu dharma. I have not come on any mission of publicity for any sect or creed or cause, nor have I come to collect the followers for any doctrine. I have no plan to attract disciples or devotees into my fold or any fold. I have come to tell you of this unitary, universal faith, this atmic principle, this path of love, this duty of love, this obligation to love. One of old Shirdi Baba's devotees, who was with him during the last years of his life, is now residing at Prasanthi Nilayam. Shirdi Ma, who is seen here standing in the background, has said that when she came to Sathya Sai Baba, she recognized so many common characteristics that she knew they were one and the same. The following morning, Sai Baba prepares to leave the ashram to travel to Bombay. As is the usual custom, when he takes leave of his devotees, a coconut is broken as a ceremonial gesture. Baba says that breaking the coconut signifies that we are determined to break our hearts open and expose it in the same manner that we expose the coconut and submit the open heart to God. On May 12, 1968, a unique lotus-like building was dedicated to Sathya Sai Baba by his Bombay devotees. It was named Dharmakshetra, the field of Dharma or righteousness. The Seva Samiti in Bombay saw the need for a center of sufficient size to allow Sai Baba to give darshan and spiritual guidance to hundreds of thousands of Bombay devotees who come to him. Sai Baba here gives his darshan, sight and presence of a holy man, to the women devotees. He has said that women are the embodiment of cosmic energy, the faithful companion of man, his fortune. Since she is the concretization of the will of the Lord, she is mystery, wonder, the representative of the protective principle, and the illumination of the home. Women are in no way inferior to men, says Baba. Possessing intelligence, discipline, spiritual capacity, eagerness to improve themselves, how can they be called weak? How full of fortitude and love is their nature? They are endowed with many virtues. Their self-control is seldom equaled by men. They are the exemplars and leaders for men to tread the spiritual path. Pure, selfless love is inborn in women, says Baba.
Jai
In July 1973, a trade school was inaugurated by Sai Baba on the Dharmic Kshetra grounds. The school teaches poor boys and girls useful trades so that they will be able to make a living in Indian society.
సకల శాస్త్ర సారమతడు సర్వవ్యాపి సనాతనుడు మన బంధువు మన గురువు మన నేత్రం మన దైవం హరే రామ సాయి రామ హరే సాయి హరే 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 కృష్ణ సాయి కృష్ణ హరే సాయి హరే హరే ధర్మమే నచింపగా అధర్మ నిలచనింపగా ధర్మమే నచింపగా అధర్మ నిలచనింపగా ధర్మ సంస్థాపనార్థమీ యుగమున వెలసెగా ధర్మ సంస్థాపనార్థమీ యుగమున వెలసెగా హరే రామ సాయి రామ హరే సాయి హరే 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 కృష్ణ సాయి కృష్ణ హరే సాయి హరే 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 రామ సాయి రామ హరే సాయి హరే 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 కృష్ణ సాయి కృష్ణ హరే సాయి హరే హరే
In the month of June 1972, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba inaugurated a summer course in spirituality and Indian culture for college students, held at his Arts and Science College, Vrindavan, Whitefield, in the Bangalore district. The Vedic pundits chant on opening day.
Love without duty. ప్రేమ మాత్రమే ఉండాలి కానీ నిర్బంధం ఉండకూడదు. అదే డివైన్ అన్నారు. డ్యూటీ వితౌట్ లవ్ డిప్లోరబుల్ అన్నారు. డ్యూటీ విత్ లవ్ డిజైరబుల్ అన్నారు. లవ్ వితౌట్ డ్యూటీ డివైన్.
These yearly summer courses of 1 month duration are planned as an instrument for the reconstruction of humanity. Each course includes lectures by eminent scholars, administrators, teachers of classical learning, art, Vedanta, and other systems of religion, philosophy, science, and its impact on cultural values. Bhajan singing, meditation, yoga asana training, and daily discourses by Sai Baba himself offer a unique opportunity to the youth of India.
Students, you must have your body in good condition, and you should not neglect the aspects of strength and health for your body. You must use your body for the sake of your country, for establishing dharma, for establishing truth and righteous conduct. Every human being must consider and make an inquiry in what manner is he spending the life and the time that is between one's birth and one's death. If we ask a question, why have you taken this birth? The correct answer would be, I have taken this birth so that I may not again repeat and take the same birth. This body is as much responsible for our bondage as it is responsible for our liberation. We must use this sacred body for the useful purpose of looking at truth. This life which has come to us as a compulsory thing should be regarded as God's gift, and we must make use of this body for this purpose. Man is a sacred animal. Of all the animals, which includes man, to be born as a man is something which is an extraordinary gift. One must use the life as he is born as man in a purposeful manner. Till you understand who you are, doesn't matter how much sadhana you do, how many good things you do, you will not understand the nature of Atma. By your good luck, the experienced people and elders are coming to you during this month. Daily in their teachings and in their sacred sayings, they are telling you what is good.
Kanukane, ee discipline, devotion, duty. భద్రపరచుకోవాలి.
హరే రామ సాయి రామ హరే సాయి హరే 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 కృష్ణ సాయి కృష్ణ హరే సాయి హరే 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 రామ సాయి రామ హరే సాయి హరే 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 కృష్ణ సాయి కృష్ణ హరే సాయి హరే 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 రామ సాయి రామ హరే సాయి హరే 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 కృష్ణ సాయి కృష్ణ హరే సాయి హరే